Hey folks, it's Vic Noble here with your weekly trade example for the week ending August the 24th of 2012. At the end of yesterday's Coach's Corner session, I asked the members for any ideas for a weekly trade example, something that they thought would be valuable for people to hear, and right away I got several comments popped up that said talk about focus, about the idea of focusing. And to me this is a very interesting topic, not just on trading but on anything else that you want to get good at. Okay, like if your mind is not on the task at hand, no matter what you're doing, how on earth do you think you're going to, get the results you want? How are you going to get good at it? Like say you're a golfer. Well, I mean, if you're lining up an important putt or you're getting ready to tee off, it's distracting if people are talking out loud or someone's cell phone's ringing or they're giggling and laughing and practicing their swing while you're trying to take your shot. Right? Maybe they'll giggle and laugh after you take your shot. That's another story. But seriously, you need to focus on what you're doing. And the same thing applies to trading. If you've got phone calls coming in and you're dealing with emails, you're talking to people, you're browsing the internet or whatever it is, all while you're trying to trade, you're going to have a tough time. By way of example, I'll tell you, in the Coach's Corner, we've got some very, very successful people in there, and all of them have one thing in common, and that is their ability to stick with one thing with tremendous focus and attention. They know exactly what they're looking for every day before they start trading, and they constantly scan for just that one thing. I'll give you an example. Maybe you've heard me talk about this guy before, but Darren is a longtime Coach's Corner member, and I have to tell you, his level of concentration and his ability to focus on he trades the slingshot and MOF patterns that Calvin Thornley's taught us, but I tell you, his focus level is so commendable. Not only are the results that he's achieved outstanding, but he's put in so much time and focus into these particular patterns that he's now able to read the markets like you just wouldn't believe. He sees them in his sleep. For example, on this chart here, this is a Euro CAD. This is a pair that he traded today. He sold during the day. This is the daily chart, but he sold during the day, and he made on that trade he made 34 pips on a 12 pip risk. Okay, that's like almost a 3-to-1 reward to risk. That means if you were risking 1% of your account on the trade, you just made almost a 3% return, less than 3 hours. You can hardly make that in 3 years in the bank. And Darren does this very regularly. And hey, he has his losses too, but his losses are very, very small, generally much less than what he's risked. But see, the reason he was able to sell this is because he was looking for a particular price action that told him that prices were likely to fall, and that's what he did. He was focused on that. This was no accident that he got this trade. But I want to be really quick to say this: success did not happen overnight for him or for anybody else that I know of that got successful. Darren has put in many, many hours and hours of focusing on just this one setup. By the way, very, very great fit with our pattern number 6 in the RFP course. If you have that, it's the same. Very similar momentum trade setup. But see, by doing this, he's gotten past the initial hardest part of learning the setup pattern and recognizing it in real time. And you know what? This is where so many people fail. They fail to truly study and put in the hours. He's done this. All the other successful traders have done this. You just have to make that commitment and be willing to sacrifice some time. It's worth it. Okay, that's all I can say about that. So, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. That's my little speech for this week. It's not a long one, but it's really important, I'll tell you that. And I just can't tell you how important it is that you commit to this thing called laser focus. So, I mean, what's past is past. Next week is next week. We got a new week coming up. You have the opportunity to make that shift right now. Make that mental shift, and you're going to put yourself in a position where you can at least give yourself a fair chance of success in this business. I've seen it many, many times. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people not make it because these are just the kind of things that you have to pay some attention to. All right? I know that anybody can do it because I've seen, it's funny with the sometimes when new people come along and that I try to assess how I feel they're going to do with things and that, and I get real surprised by some people both ways. And so I know that anybody can do this, and it's a matter of having the right mindset, right attitude, and having that focus. Really, really important. Okay, thanks so much for listening in this week. Hope you guys have a nice weekend and a great week of trading ahead. Stay focused, and I'll be back at the end of next week. Thanks so much.